Hello students, I am Mrs. Kavita Upadhyay, your English teacher. I welcome all the students of class 9 to today's English class. Today students, we are going to read the second part of Unit 2 from your book Beehive. The title of the unit is The Sound of Music and the title of this lesson is The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Students, we are going to cover this lesson in two videos and this is the first of the two. Now students, tell me which musical instrument is played on the occasion of weddings in North India. Here's a clue. Yes, it is Shehnai. Now can you name this famous Shehnai player? I know you have recognized him. He is none other than Ustad Bismillah Khan. We are going to read about him in this lesson. Objectives of the lesson are to expose you to the life of a great Shehnai player, Ustad Bismillah Khan, to inspire and motivate you by showing you that nothing is impossible for a focused mind, to promote love for reading and writing, and to develop your language ability. Now let us read the lesson. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Emperor Aurangzeb, you know Aurangzeb was an emperor, Mughal emperor. He banned the playing of musical instrument pungi. Now see, this is pungi which this man is playing. It is a reeded instrument. Why did he ban it? Because it had shrill, unpleasant sound. Shrill means very high pitched and unpleasant. It did not sound good to him or to anybody. So it was banned in royal residence of the royal family. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. All the reeded noisemakers, reeded means made with the help of reed. The instruments which are made with the help of reed were called pungi. All the instruments of this class were called pungi. So it is the generic name. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Very few people thought that it would one day come back to life in a different form. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Now here was a barber who worked for a family of professional musicians. He had access to the royal palace. If someone has access to your email account, that means you have given him permission, your password to check your account. In the same way, this barber had access to the royal palace. That means he had the permission to enter the royal palace. Decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi, and this barber decided that he would improve the sound of pungi. The sound of pungi was unpleasant, and this man decided to improve the sound quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. He took a natural hollow stem, that means a reed which is hollow from inside, and that was longer and broader than the pungi, and this pipe was longer and broader than the pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Now this is the natural pipe and he made 7 holes on it. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. Now, he played on it. How did he play on it? By closing and opening the holes as he blew into it, and then soft and melodious sounds were produced, and that produced soft sound which were melodious. There was music in it. It was not shrill or unpleasant. Now it was soft and melodious. He played the instrument before royalty. Before royalty means before the royal family, and everyone was impressed, and everyone in the royal family was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a Nai barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. Now the instrument looked different and it sounded different. It was so different from pungi that it had to be given a different name. And the story goes that, the story is told that since it was first played in the emperor's chambers and was played by a Nai, and it was played by a barber. Barber is called Nai in Hindi. The instrument was named Shehnai, Shah Nai. Both the words were combined to make the new word Shehnai, and this name was given to this new instrument. Now children, here are meanings of difficult words for you. Generic name. Generic name is a name given to a class or group as a whole. Like the pungi is the generic name given to class of instruments which are reeded and created noise. Reeded. Reeded are the wind instruments which have reeds like flute. These are reeded instruments. Access. Access means the right to enter. Now you have to choose the correct option. Aurangzeb banned the playing of pungi because. What was the reason Aurangzeb banned the playing of pungi? A. It brought ill luck. B. It had an unpleasant sound. C. He did not like music. What was the reason? Choose the right option. Now let us check the answer. The answer is it had an unpleasant sound. When something is revived, it remains dead or it lives again. You saw pungi. It was banned in the royal palace, but then it lived again. It was revived in the form of Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means favorable, something which brings luck. Now the sound of Shehnai, which was pleasant, musical, it was considered auspicious, and it began to be played in temples, and also it became indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In North India, whenever there is a wedding, it is indispensable. Indispensable means you cannot do without it. That means Shehnai is an indispensable component. That means an element. Component means an element which is something compulsory for any North Indian wedding. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. In the past, Shehnai occupied a special place in royal courts because it was a part of Naubat. At royal courts in the past, there was a collection of 9 instruments which was called Naubat, and Shehnai was a part of it. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. Till recently, it was used only in temples. Till recently means not long ago. Till then, it was used only in temples and in weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. But Ustad Bismillah Khan brought it to the stage of classical music. The credit goes to him. Now we are going to read about the life of Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. Ancient estate means a small old state named Dumrao in Bihar. This was the place where near a pond Bismillah Khan played gilli danda as a child. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilogram, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. He would sing Bhojpuri Chaita in a temple. Now remember, he was a Muslim boy, but he went to Bihariji temple and sang Bhojpuri Chaita. And what is Chaita? Chaita is a folk raga. Why is it called Chaita? Because it is sung about, specially about, the birth of Lord Rama, which took place in the month of Chaitra. So, the raga is named Chaita. He would sing Chaita in Bihariji temple, and at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kilogram, which was given to him by the local Maharaja. Local Maharaja would give him a gift of 1.25 kg laddu because he sang Chaita beautifully. This happened 80 years ago. And the little boy, who was that little boy? Ustad Bismillah Khan, has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award. Now he has travelled far. His journey has taken him so far that the boy who earned a laddu has now earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. This is the highest award given to any citizen of India. Now, meanings of difficult words that we have come across in this section are auspicious. Auspicious means fortunate, something that brings good luck. Indispensable, without which a piece of work cannot be done. Auspicious, indispensable, then ensemble. I told you how to pronounce this word. It is ensemble. Ensemble means things considered as group. Then component. Component means element or part. Tell whether true or false. Bismillah Khan has been awarded Bharat Ratna. Is it true or false? It is true. He has been awarded the Bharat Ratna. Bismillah Khan transformed the pungi into shehnai. Was it Bismillah Khan who transformed the pungi into shehnai? No, it is false. It was transformed from pungi to shehnai by a barber, nai. Shehnai was an essential part of Naubat. Yes, it is true. Shehnai is banned in temples. Is shehnai banned in temples? No, it is still played in temples. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Bakhsh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father Pagambar Baksh and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Now he was born on 21 March 1916. He belongs to a family of well-known musicians from Bihar. You remember the name of his village, Dumrao, which is in Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. Shehnai Nawaz means the person who plays Shehnai. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan, what was his name? Rasul Baksh Khan. He was the Shehnai player where? At the court of Bhojpur king. His father Pagambar Baksh and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. His father, what was his name? Pagambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestors, other forefathers who were related to his father's side. Paternal means related to father's side, were also great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Now the young boy, Bismillah, he took to music. Took to music means? Took to music. Whether he liked it or disliked it. He liked it. When he was a small boy, early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house. Now what does maternal mean? I told you the meaning of paternal. Paternal are the relatives who are related to your father's side, and maternal are the relatives who are related to your mother's side. Okay. The mother, when he was 3 years old, mother took him to his maternal uncle's house. Where was it situated? It was in Benares. Now it is called Varanasi. Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Now Bismillah watched his uncles there. They practiced Shehnai, and Bismillah was fascinated. Fascinated means totally attracted. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh. What was the name of his uncle? Ali Baksh. He started accompanying him. Company, you know. Company means to be with. Accompanying him to means to go with somebody. Where did he go? To the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baksh was employed. Baksh was employed by the temple to play Shehnai there, and Bismillah Khan also started going with his uncle to this temple. Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Ali Baksh would play Shehnai there in the Vishnu temple, and Bismillah would sit captivated. Captivated means totally absorbed for hours on end. On end means continuously for long hours he would sit watching his uncle play Shehnai. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument. Now gradually he also started getting lessons in playing this instrument. What was the name of the instrument? Shehnai. And would sit practicing throughout the day. And he was so interested in learning how to play Shehnai that he would keep practicing throughout the day. He was so focused. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, where he could practice in solitude. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. For years to come, that means when he started practicing how to play Shehnai, For some years after that, he would go to the temple of Balaji, the temple of Mangalamaya, and he would go also to the banks of the Ganga. These became his favorite haunts. Favorite haunts means the places which were frequently visited by this boy. And this boy is referred to as young apprentice. Apprentice. What was he doing at that time? He was learning how to play Shehnai. From whom was he learning? From Ali Baksh. So, apprentice is a person who is learning some skill or some art from an expert. Bismillah Khan was a young apprentice at that time, and he would go to these places. Why would he go there? Because he could practice in solitude. Now, Bismillah Khan wanted to practice Shehnai. Where would he go? To a crowded place or to a lonely place? He would go to a lonely place. So, solitude means where you are alone. So, he would be there alone and he would practice how to play Shehnai. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Now, he felt inspired to watch the flowing waters of Ganga, and he invented and improvised means created ragas, and those ragas were earlier considered. Before that, people thought that those ragas could not be played on Shehnai, but he did that. Meanings of difficult words. Paternal. I told you paternal means related to father's side, and maternal means related to mother's side. Apprentice is someone who works with an expert to learn some skill. Like Ustad Bismillah Khan went to temple. Which temple? Vishnu temple, with his uncle Ali Baksh, and he was learning the skill of playing Shehnai from him. Fascinated means totally attracted. When his uncle played Shehnai, he was fascinated. He was totally attracted. Accompanying means going along with. He would go along with his uncle to the Vishnu temple. He accompanied him. Captivated means strongly attracted. Now you have to match the tables. In column A we have names, and in column B we have things related to these people whose names are written in column A. You have to match them. Rasool Baksh Khan. First name is Rasool Baksh Khan. Second is Pagambar Baksh. Third is Ali Baksh. Then Rasool Baksh Khan again, and then Ali Baksh again. And in column B we have father of Bismillah Khan, grandfather of Bismillah Khan, Bhojpur King's Court, maternal uncle, and Vishnu temple. Now Rasool Baksh Khan. Who was Rasool Baksh Khan? He was the grandfather of Bismillah Khan. Rasool Baksh Khan was the grandfather of Bismillah Khan. Pagambar Baksh. Now who was Pagambar Baksh? Pagambar Baksh was the father of Bismillah Khan. Then Ali Baksh. Ali Baksh was the maternal uncle of Bismillah Khan. Then Rasool Baksh Khan. Rasool Baksh Khan was the grandfather of Bismillah Khan, and he was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's Court. Then Ali Baksh used to play in the Vishnu temple. Hope you have got them right. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. At the age of 14, he was just 14 When Bismillah accompanied, you remember the meaning of this word? Accompanied means to go along with. He went along with his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. At the end of his recital means performance. At the end of his performance, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back. He encouraged him, saying that work hard and you shall make it. You shall make it. Note the use of shall with you. We usually use shall with the first person. Here it is used with the second person because he is promising the boy that if you work hard, you shall make it. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He got a big break in All India Radio. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. Now, soon he became famous as a Shehnai player who could be heard on radio often. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Ganga-U.P from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech when India gained independence on 15 August 1947. You all know that India became free on this day. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation. Now, Bismillah Khan was the man who greeted the nation, who wished the nation on the occasion of gaining independence, becoming free from the British rule, and he greeted the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out, means he expressed his feelings beautifully in Ganga-U.P by playing Shehnai from the Red Fort to an audience. He played Shehnai from the Red Fort and his audience included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. And later on that day only, Jawaharlal Nehru gave his famous speech which he gave after the independence of India. It is even now famous as Tryst with Destiny speech. Tryst means secret meeting between lover and beloved especially, and destiny. Destiny means fortune, fate. That means India is going on a tryst with destiny. India is going to meet its fate, its fortune. This was the sum and substance of his speech. Meanings of difficult words. Recital means performance of music, especially by a soloist. Tryst, a secret meeting, especially between lovers. And destiny means fortune or luck. Now try to answer these questions in about 30 to 40 words. First is, at what age did Bismillah Khan perform in Allahabad Music Conference? What did Ustad Fayaz Khan say to him? Second is, what in your opinion must be considered his most memorable recital and why? Who transformed the pungi into a shehnai? Why was it named shehnai? Try to write the answers on your own in about 30 to 40 words. Now thinking about language, choose the right answer. When a government bans something, it wants it stopped or started. When a government bans something, it wants it stopped or started. Choose your answer. We will check it later. When something is considered auspicious, welcome it or avoid it. what would you do? Welcome it or avoid it? If something is considered auspicious. When we take to something, we find it boring or interesting. When we take to something. Your answers are: when a government bans something, it wants it stopped. You all know that. When something is considered auspicious, welcome it, because it is auspicious, it is favorable, fortunate. When we take to something, we find it interesting. Bismillah Khan took to Shehnai early in his life. Now read the remaining part of the lesson on your own and try to guess the meanings of difficult words and phrases as you read. This will help you understand the lesson better when we continue it in the next part. Good luck for your studies and thank you.